Hello world. Today is August 23rd, 2013. I'm Citizen. This is Bible Time Capsule. We are in Leviticus chapter 16. Let's begin then. Chapter 16, the Day of Atonement. After the death of Aaron's two sons, who died when they approached the Lord's presence, the Lord spoke to Moses and said to him, "Tell your brother Aaron that he is not to come up, nor not to come whenever he pleases into the sanctuary inside the veil in front of the propitiatory on the ark. Otherwise, when I reveal myself in a cloud above the propitiatory, he will die. Only in this way may Aaron enter the sanctuary. He shall bring a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a holocaust. He shall wear a sacred linen tunic with the linen drawers next to his flesh, gird himself with the linen sash and put on the linen mitre. But since these vestments are sacred, he shall not put them on until he has first bathed his body in water. From the Israelite community he shall receive 2 male goats for his sin offering and 1 ram for a holocaust. Aaron shall bring in the bullock, his sin offering, to atone himself for his household. Taking the 2 male goats and setting them before the Lord at the entrance of the meeting tent, he shall cast lots to determine which one is for the Lord and which one is for Azazel. A-Z-A-Z-E-L. The goat that is determined by lot for the Lord, Aaron shall bring in and offer up as a sin offering. But the goat determined by lot for Azazel, he shall set alive before the Lord, so that with it he may make atonement by sending it off to Azazel in the desert. Thus shall Aaron offer up the bullock, his sin offering, to atone himself and for his family. When he has slaughtered it, he shall take a censer full of glowing embers from the altar before the Lord, as well as a double handful of finely ground fragrant incense, and bringing them inside the veil, there before the Lord he shall put incense on the fire, so that a cloud of incense may cover up the propitiatory over the commandments, else he will die. Taking some of the bullock's blood, he shall sprinkle it with his finger on the forepart of the propitiatory, and likewise sprinkle some of the blood on his finger 7 times in front of the propitiatory. Then he shall slaughter the people's sin offering goat, and bringing its blood inside the veil, he shall do with it as he did with the bullock's blood, sprinkling it on the propitiatory and before it. Thus he shall make atonement for the sanctuary because all of the sin defilements and faults of the Israelites. He shall do the same for the meeting tent, which is set up among them in the midst of their uncleanness. No one else may be in the meeting tent from the time he enters the sanctuary to make atonement until he departs. When he has made atonement for himself and his household, as well as for the whole Israelite community, he shall come out to the altar before the Lord and make atonement for it also. Taking some of the bullocks and goats' blood, he shall put it on the horns around the altar, and with his fingers sprinkle some of the blood on it 7 times. Thus he shall render it clean and holy, purged from defilements of the Israelites. Next section, the scapegoat. When he has completed the atonement rite for the sanctuary, the meeting tent and the altar, Aaron shall bring forward the live goat. Laying both hands on its head, he shall confess over it and all the sinful faults and transgressions of the Israelites, and so put them on the goat's head. He shall then have it led into the desert by an attendant. Since the goat is to carry off the iniquities to an isolated region, it must be sent away to the desert. After Aaron has again gone into the meeting tent, he shall strip off and leave in the sanctuary the linen vestments he had put on while he entered there. After bathing his body in water in the sacred place, he shall put on his vestments and then come out and offer his own and the people's holocaust and atonement for himself and for the people, and also burn the fat of the sin offering at the altar. The man who has led away the goat for Azazel shall wash his garments and bathe his body in water. Only then may he enter the camp. The sin offering bullock and goat whose blood was brought into the sanctuary to make atonement shall be taken outside the camp, where their hides and flesh and offal shall be burned up in the fire. The one who burns them shall wash his garments and bathe his body in water. Only then may he enter the camp. Next section, the fast. This shall be an everlasting ordinance for you. On the 10th day of the 7th month, every one of you, whether a native or a resident alien, shall mortify himself and shall do no work. Since on this day atonement is made for you to make you clean, so that you may be cleansed of all your sins before the Lord. By everlasting ordinance it shall be a most solemn Sabbath for you, on which you must mortify yourselves. This atonement is to be made by the priest who has anointed and ordained to the priesthood in succession to his father. He shall wear the linen garments, the sacred vestments, and make atonement for the sacred sanctuary, the meeting tent, and the altar, as well as for the priest and all of the people of the community. This then shall be an everlasting ordinance for you. Once a year atonement shall be made for all the sins of the Israelites. Thus was it done, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And that's the end of chapter 16. That's also the end of section 3 of Leviticus. So we'll pick it up tomorrow. I'm Citizen. This is Bible Time Capsule. Be kind to one another and love each other. Peace! I'm out.